Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting.
Good day, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Alex Sass Show here at the Glen Zone. And actually, welcome to the Theater of Lies. And this is a theater that you're watching. And this is Jack Smith indicting Trump yet again. And I don't know if it's even worth it because according to the law, Trump can't just pardon himself and say, screw all of you guys. And it's just advertising for Trump. And I don't know what he's talking about, J6 being the attack on America and the freedoms. And you cannot mention J6 if you don't mention Plan Gimmick and BLM riots and what was the other riots? The guy that died from choking, what's his name? Oh, you got a short memory? You don't
Rodney
remember
King?
him? No, not the Rodney King.
No, that's a long time ago.
Oh, what was his name?
Anyways, this Jack Smith, the federal prosecutor, it's ironic that he comes out now, okay, the day after Congress just opened the lid on Hunter Biden and Big Daddy Joe Biden, who've been doing nefarious things in other countries for personal profit. That's a form of treason against their government, and using the position in the White House to garner more money for themselves, whether it be in China or it would be in Ukraine, the big money laundering capital of the world. And then they're coming out now with Trump. It's a bait and switch. It's a shell game. It's a shame what's really going on. And we're going to see how many people believe this, but we're also going to see how many people don't believe this. It's the red pill. It's the awakening. And the boys in the studio here are going to show the people who take the time to listen what we're talking about.
Bro, I think they're just adding to this man's legend. He's becoming the Teflon Don. He is the one and only who's faced more indictments and impeachments that I've ever seen in history. And I don't believe he's seen the inside of a prison cell yet.
No, the point is, you're bringing up both a good point. Like if it's Teflon Don, but also like what happens to Biden's. You know, there's so much evidence now, anywhere from the Biden laptop with all kinds of nasty stuff in it, and it's not just corruption, but also like all kinds of sex trafficking specifically, and maybe even minor sex trafficking, which is the whole different level. But now we know that he has been, implicated into a whole China collusion type of thing, where he has the Biden's brand, and that's according to whistleblower, I guess that's what you call him. Devon Archer, right? Devon Archer went as his ex-business partner, and I don't know how much money he didn't pay Devon Archer for him to go on record and state that Joe Biden was present at least 20 times when Hunter Biden was dealing with countries like China and using Joe Biden as a support system, trying to triangulate. We actually have videos to show you later, but this is amazing to me. This theater that's happening right now continues to happen right now. And no one's actually indicted on the Hunter side. Nobody is even, we're not even talking about jail time, but we are talking about jail time with Trump. We are talking about J6, and I believe people from J6 still in jail, Glenn. Isn't it the case, as far as you're aware?
Yeah, there are some people who are doing some time, you know. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But I mean, even the crime, it's being exaggerated. It's all a cover-up. It's a smoke screen. It's don't look over here, look over there. And because if you look over here, you're going to see the Biden hands in some money somewhere, and they're going to bring down the whole government. Gentlemen, I'll go on record to say what I believe is there's a whole bunch of things going on behind the curtains. A lot of bad people are being taken down. It's just that they don't want to come out and show it to us all in one shot because the average person will be overwhelmed. They want to red pill Mr. and Mrs. Average a lot slower so they could take it in and digest this. If they did it too fast, people would lose faith in everything, and you might have a civil discourse exaggerated. So they're doing it slowly to make the people realize how bad things were, but the good is starting to win and how good things will be.
I also believe good is starting to will and to win and to will, yes. Things like information about playing gimmick came to the top, and a lot more people that were on the fence and weren't sure if they're being played, now they're certain that they're being played. And some people that weren't sure if they were being played about Ukraine are now also aware that they're being played with the whole Ukraine thing. And you can go back with each possible event that's supposed to make you feel angry or scared or any otherwise, other than to focus on what really is going on every day and how you're being taken advantage of, how you're being enslaved, and how you're being gut. So actually, we have a video of Hunter Biden implicating himself multiple times during this interview that he did. Let's watch this really quick.
13 trip to China getting new attention this morning, not for what Joe Biden did, who he brought with him. His son, Hunter, joining the then vice president on the official visit to Beijing. Hunter Biden was forming a Chinese private equity fund, planning to raise money, including from Chinese investors. Years later, Hunter Biden acknowledged that during the trip, he met with a Chinese banker,
Jonathan Lee. Your father did shake hands with Mr. Lee, though, correct, in the lobby of that hotel?
I don't remember, but probably. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he did. He was my friend.
Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, for almost 13 years.
He was your friend.
Glenn, let me ask you, how many friends do you have in the Chinese Communist Party?
You notice this Biden kid there, he says he's got selective memory. He doesn't know what happened, but he knows how many years they've been friends. You know, and this was just in China. The public has become aware about the Biden's greedy hands in business dealings in Ukraine with that company that's come to light quite often, Burisma, and how they were Burisma paid to keep playing. In other words, that was one of the countries that would avoid the sanctions, so that they took money and they said, okay, we won't put you on the list of sanctions. If this is not corruption, if this is not treason, then you know what? It will be. You'll see.
Rome, how many Chinese Communist Party members do you have as friends?
Openly, I probably don't have any.
Trudeau? Trudeau, maybe?
But, you know, not that I know of. Let me tell you what I do know. Hey, Hunter Biden is a lawyer's wet dream. His lawyer's looking at him like, boy, what
an idiot.
I told you. Now the fee just tripled. Keeping you out of prison is going to be extremely expensive because you won't stop. Who told you to do this interview, man?
Well, there was probably, because there's, you know, the people in the government, right? Those who can't do, those who can't teach, and those who can't teach join the government. So people in the government probably advise them to run some kind of anti-smear campaign. You know, that's the reputation. Let's save your reputation by going show how good you are in public and that you're okay. Let's, you know, let him talk out of it. That was a mistake, like you said.
They didn't realize that she has prosecutor tendencies. This wasn't an interview.
Well, she has experience too, right?
Absolutely.
And your business
Yeah,
partners.
but I understand. So really, Amy, whether I'm in New York or whether I'm in Washington, D.C., a friend and a business associate is in the hotel, and my dad's staying there. Is it inappropriate for me to have coffee with them? I don't
So that
find
meeting
anything
was
wrong.
not a mistake. It was
I think it's inappropriate for President's son to have, not just President's son of United States of America, to have friends in the Chinese Communist Party. Because that's a conflict of interest in many different ways, not just for the son, but for the whole Hunter family.
not unethical
100% not.
10 days after the Biden's trip, Shanghai authorities issued the fund's business license.
BHR Partners, a firm largely backed by the Chinese state in which Hunter Biden served as a director. It has a history of investing.
How did he get that job? From his crack dealer? Right, like, how do you get a job? Can I get a job in some, he's a board of directors in Burisma, he's a board of director in China, and the father has nothing to. I mean, that's a nepotism on a whole different level.
Exactly, big guy. That's not what you know. That's who you know in real time, and everybody is watching this and saying, pay to play. I'm going to use Big Daddy's name, and we're going to extort a lot of money from a lot of different corporations.
But I'm not putting this on, Junkie the Hunter himself, by himself. Like, Joe Biden, before he went senile, if it's even still a Joe Biden, he should have known better. He should have known that's a conflict of interest for him, especially if he potentially becomes or runs for president of the United States. Or they are so obnoxious and they so don't care about what they do and they never held accountable. He's been in the government for how many years? Like the longest serving, other than the crazy bat from San Francisco, what's her name, Nancy Pelosi. They're the longest serving members of the Senate. They're probably going to die. No, well, not probably. Definitely Biden's going to die in office. He's going to die any day now if he's not already dead. And this is like the weekend at Biden's, right, when he goes to Delaware to his beachfront. But the point is, this guy should have known better. I mean, let's just watch the rest of the story really quick.
In and acquiring sensitive technologies of interest to the Chinese regime.
Hunter bought a 10% stake of the fund through a company he owns at the price of $420,000. BHR listed an investment firm as a shareholder that owned 30% of the fund.
You have Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners, RSP Holdings, RSTP2 Alpha, RSTP2 Bravo, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, Rosemont Seneca Bohai.
Other shareholders of the firm include major Chinese state-owned banks and local governments.
I would like to invest into the major, Chinese companies that backed up by Chinese government, because they're never going to fail. As long as the Hunter's on board as well. Glenn, it seems like a sure investment to me.
Yeah, this is a giant shell game, but you know what? Just follow the money, and it leads you to the truth. And now this is what seems to be materializing. They are starting to follow the money, and a lot of red flags are starting to rise.
So, okay, my question to the panel, we're going to close the show with this, because this is nothing new. This has been going on for months and months and months since the presidency. Trump's bad. Hunter's just a poor, misunderstood child who's like 50 years old, pays for prostitution, prostitutes from Ukraine, and smokes crack and films himself. And then tells in an interview he smoked Parmesan cheese, right? Never heard of it. Out of all my time on the street and doing all kinds of stuff, I never even heard anyone say that. By the way, brothers and sisters, I've never done any time on the street. The point is, this guy is crazy. This guy is absolutely crazy. Like Rome pointed out, the more he talks, more he incriminates himself. My question to the panel is this going to come to anything? Is there going to be any resolution? Is there any going to be conclusion to this conflict? Is Trump going to jail? Probably not. Is Trump going to get elected? I don't know. Probably yes. Is Hunter Biden is going to jail? Is Joe Hunter going to be held accountable? Or they just know Joe Hunter? Joe Biden is going to die, and that would be it. Maybe he only has a few weeks to go. We just don't know. Or they can just flip a switch at any point. Maybe that's what it is about. Maybe he is so far gone, it's like, who cares at this point? Now, is that just that? Or they are brewing a bigger conflict? Or they are preparing us for civil disobedience? I'm not saying full-blown civil war, but J6, they like the whole taste of J6. Can they spread it throughout the country? Was that the test run for the thing they can implement throughout the whole country? I don't know. Here's my question to the panel. How you feel about all this? Civil war or no civil war?
I put my money on no civil war. and no jail time for any government officials. Prisons are made by them for us, not for them.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yeah, not for them. When was the last time you see a politician go to jail?
Oh, come on, man. And by that time, the politician that goes to jail has done probably so many other wrongs within his own organization, his or her own organization.
He didn't share.
Exactly. That they're going to jail for that. Like, that's like the worst punishment. You know what I mean?
He's
Just,
not going to jail because he did it wrong. He
No.
goes to jail because he didn't split the difference.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he rebelled against the globalists, trying to save his own keister, or he called out the central bankers, the bankers of the world.
Oh, you're referring to JFK now. That's kind of that's what happened to JFK, right? He rebelled against the Fed, and he rebelled against the CIA and FBI, and that's what happened. So, brothers and sisters, we're gonna close the show on this. And what I'm trying to tell you is, and thank you for the panel for joining us here. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Glenn. What we're trying to tell you, don't be afraid, but don't play their game. Find other rules, because if you play by their game, and their game is named fear and conflict and divide and conquer. Find a way to unite. If you disagree with your other brother and sister on any of the issues, political issues, environmental issues, health issues, find the common ground. Because if you notice, and you guys can agree or disagree with me, if you notice, they constantly trying us with different conflicts. After playing gimmick came Ukraine. After Ukraine comes back the climate change. After climate change comes World War III with Taipei and China or whatever. Something is happening.
Don't forget the Super Bowl.
What about a Super Bowl?
That happens too.
Distraction.
Yeah, they ride over that. They ride here over Canadians. Winning or losing games. So that's true too. Find the way to stay united, to be united, and we have a common enemy, and it's not us. We are brothers and sisters, and we gotta stay as a family. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We'll see you on the next one.